Hello, my dear children. How are you all? I hope all of you are doing well. So, from so many months, you all are sitting at your home. You're not able to come to your school, isn't it? Have you ever thought what is the reason behind you are not able to come to the school? It's because of coronavirus. So we are undergoing a pandemic situation, and there is a virus named coronavirus, and that is spread all over the world, isn't it? Can we see coronavirus? No, we cannot see the virus because it is very small. It cannot be seen with our naked eyes. To see a coronavirus, we need a microscope. What is a microscope? A microscope is an instrument that is used to view very tiny organisms. So, coronavirus is a very tiny microorganism that cannot be seen with our naked eyes. We can view the virus only by the use of microscope. Did you understand, children? So today we are going to learn about a microorganism just like the coronavirus. We cannot see the microorganism with our naked eyes. Instead, we need a microscope. With the help of a microscope only, we can see a microorganism. So the name of our poem is The Microbe. Look here, children. The name of our poem is The Microbe. The Microbe. Now, look onto your textbook. The microbe. The microbe is so very small, you cannot make him out at all. But many sanguine people hope to see him through a microscope. His jointed tongue that lies beneath 100 curious rows of teeth, his 7 tufted tails with lots of lovely pink and purple spots, on each of which a pattern stands, composed of 40 separate bands, his eyebrows of a tender green. All these have never yet been seen, but scientists who ought to know assure us that they must be so. Oh, let us never, never doubt what nobody is sure about. Now, I'll explain the poem for you. The microbe is so very small, you cannot make him out at all. But many sanguine people hope to see him through a microscope. So, the microbe, that means the microorganism, is so very small. It is very small. As I told you in the beginning, we cannot see the microbe with our naked eyes. So, what is microbe? Microbe means a tiny living organism. So, as I told you earlier, a microbe is a tiny living organism that cannot be seen with our naked eyes. It is very small and we cannot see with our naked eyes. The microbe is so very small, you cannot make him out at all. Make him out. What is the meaning of make him out? Make him out means see him with great difficulty. So, this microbe is a very small, a very tiny organism and we cannot see him easily. We can see him only through a microscope and it is not easy to see him. The microbe is so very small, you cannot make him out at all. But many sanguine people hope to see him through a microscope. But many sanguine people, what is the meaning of sanguine? Sanguine people means cheerfully optimistic. Sanguine. Sanguine means cheerfully optimistic. So, Sanguine people means cheerfully optimistic people. There are some people, they'll always be positive. Whatever things happen in their life, they'll be positive. They'll always smile and face that problem. So such kind of people are called sanguine people. What is the meaning of sanguine? Cheerfully optimistic. They always have a positive attitude and they'll always be cheerful. They'll always be happy and whatever problems happens in their life, they'll face it with a smile. So, what is the meaning of sanguine? Sanguine means cheerfully optimistic. So, but many sanguine people hope to see him through a microscope. So there are some sanguine people, some positive minded people, and they hope to see him through a microscope and they wish to see the microbe through a microscope. As I told you earlier, it is very difficult to see a microbe and we have to use a microscope. So what is a microscope? It is an instrument used to see tiny organisms. To see him through a microscope. His jointed tongue that lies beneath 100 curious rows of teeth. So, we are going to describe the microbe. His jointed tongue that lies beneath 100 curious rows of teeth. So, how is his tongue? It is jointed tongue that lies beneath. Beneath means under. What is the meaning of beneath? Beneath means under. So, his jointed tongue that lies beneath the 100 curious rows of teeth. So, how is the tongue of this microbe? It is a jointed tongue and it lies under 100 rows of teeth. He is having more than 100 rows of teeth in his mouth and the tongue is lying just under the 100 rows of teeth. What is the meaning of curious? Curious. C-U-R-I-O-U-S. Curious means strange. Strange. Or unusual. So, what is the meaning of curious? Curious means strange or unusual. So, the microbe is having more than 100 rows of teeth in his mouth and there is a jointed tongue under the curious teeth. Curious means strange or unusual. His 7 tufted tails with lots of lovely pink and purple spots. So, he's having 7 tails. His 7 tufted tails. Tufted means what? What is the meaning of tufted? Tufted. Tufted. What is the meaning of tufted? Tufted means with hair. With hair tied together. With hair tied together. So, this microbe is having more than 100 rows of teeth in his mouth and under the teeth there is a jointed tongue. And after that, what we said? His 7 tufted tails with lots of lovely pink and purple spots. So, he's having 7 tufted tails. How many tails? 7 tufted tails. And what is the meaning of tufted? With hair tied together. So he's having 7 tails and on each tail a pink color spot is there. On each tail there is one purple spot, pink or purple spots. I'll read it once again. His jointed tongue that lies beneath 100 curious rows of teeth. His 7 tufted tails with lots of lovely pink and purple spots. So he's having 7 tails, 7 tufted tails. Tufted means with hair tied together. So his hair is tied together and he's having 7 tufted tails and on each tail there is a lovely pink and purple spot. On each of the tails, he is having a pink color or a purple color spot. Did you understand, children? So we'll read the first stanza once again. The microbe is so very small, you cannot make him out at all. But many sanguine people hope to see him through a microscope. His jointed tongue that lies beneath 100 curious rows of teeth, his 7 tufted tails with lots of lovely pink and purple spots. Did you understand, children? So we are describing a microorganism. We are describing a microbe. Now we learn the second stanza. On each of which a pattern stands, composed of 40 separate bands. So we have already told that this microbe is having 7 tails, and on each of the tail he is having a pink or a purple color spot, on each of which a pattern stands, composed of 40 separate bands. So on each of the tail he is having a pattern. What is the meaning of a pattern? Pattern means repeated decorative design. So what is the meaning of pattern? Pattern means repeated decorative design. So we have already told that this microbe is having 7 tails, and on each tail there is a pink or a purple color spot, and after that on each of which a pattern stands. On each of the tail there is a repeated decorative design composed of 40 separate bands. So it is composed of 40 separate bands. His eyebrows of a tender green. And what is the color of his eyebrows? His eyebrows are in tender green color. Tender green. What is the meaning of tender? Tender means soft. So his eyebrows of a tender green. His eyebrows are in tender soft green color. All these have never yet been seen, but scientists who ought to know assure us that they must be so. So his eyebrows are in soft green color. All these have never yet been seen, but nobody has seen this. Nobody has seen this microbe, but scientists. Who is a scientist? Who is a scientist? A scientist is a person who studies about physical or natural sciences. So, who is a scientist? A scientist is a person who studies about physical or natural sciences. So, who is a scientist, children? Scientist is a person who studies about physical or natural sciences. So, the scientists are describing the microbe like this. How do they describe? The microbe is a very tiny organism. It cannot be seen with our naked eyes. It is very difficult to make him out. Then, it is having 7 tufted tails, and on each tails there is a pink or a purple color spot, and after that what we learned? On each of which a pattern stands, and on each of the tail there is a pattern, and each pattern is composed of 40 separated bands. And after that, his eyebrows are in soft green color. All these have never yet been seen. So nobody has seen all these things, but scientists Who's a scientist? A person who studies about physical or natural sciences. But a scientist says that who ought to know. Ought to means their duty to know. But scientist is who ought to know. That means the scientist is whose duty is to know these facts, assure us that they must be so. Assure means, what is the meaning of assure? Assure. A-S-S-U-R-E. Assure means say with certainty. Certainty. So, scientists tell us that the microbe must be so. They assure us that. Assure means say with certainty, because they are 100% sure. They are very sure that the microbe is like this. They are describing the microbe and the scientists are assuring us. Assuring means they are saying with certainty. They are telling us that the microbe must be like this. Oh, let us never doubt what nobody is sure about. The scientists are telling like that, but let us never doubt what nobody is sure about, because we are not sure about the appearance of this microbe. So, we should not doubt about it. What all things we learn, children? It is very difficult to see a microbe and we have to use a microscope. He's having a tongue and this tongue lies under 100 rows of unusual teeth, and after that we learned he's having 7 tufted tails, and on each tail there is a pink or a purple color spot. Then what we learned? On each of which there is a pattern. On each of the tail there is a pattern, and each pattern consists of 40 separate bands, and his eyebrows are in soft green color, and nobody has seen this microbe, so we should not doubt about it. Did you understand, children? Now we are going to do the comprehension part. Match the words on the left with those on the right. So we have 2 columns here, and we are going to match the words in column A with the words in column B. Did you understand? So we have 2 columns here and we are going to match these words. We have already learned the poem and we are going to match these words. Are you ready, children? Shall we do it? See this. Jointed. Can you tell me what is jointed? Spots, rows of teeth, eyebrows, tongue or tails. We have learned it. Jointed, tongue. Very good. Jointed, tongue, and tufted, tails. Tufted tails. Then 100. We have already learned it. 100 rows of teeth. 100 rows of teeth, and pink and purple spots. Very good. Pink and purple spots. Tender green. Yes, you know the answer. Tender green eyebrows. Very good. Tender green eyebrows. So, we'll repeat this once again. Jointed tongue, tufted tails, 100 rows of teeth, pink and purple spots, tender green eyebrows. Did you understand, children? So we have done activity A1. Now there is activity A2 in your textbook, and I'll give you the comprehension answers as notes. You can write it in your notebook. Now I'll give you a homework. So we have learned the poem, isn't it? You have to read the poem 2 times and take a video and send it to me. You have to send your reading exercise video. Then we have learned so many new words. I have given you the meanings also. So you have to write the new words and their meanings in your notebook. And after that, I'll give you activity A2. You have comprehension questions and you can write it in your notebook. Did you understand, children? So you have 3 homeworks. Once you do the homework, take a photograph and send it to me in school WhatsApp number. See you in next class. Thank you.